Look what you did, you little jerk!
What up, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy. You're watching the Circle of Jerks podcast, the only podcast recommended for treatment against coronavirus. Guaranteed. We're back with another episode, and today we have our returning guest. You might remember her from our previous appearance on the podcast, Miss Stephanie Redding.
Hello.
And today we had a lot of technical issues, and we don't know. We're like, this is 24. We're like working against the clock here, so we're gonna bypass all the usual niceties, and we're gonna get into the topic at hand today, which is coronavirus and the effects of the coronavirus, specifically talking jobs. I think it's safe to say that everyone has been impacted, whether good or bad. Especially around the title of essential jobs. And so, oh damn it, Rob, I can barely hear you.
No, I was saying I really fucking hate that term, essential or non-essential. That's because the reality is like everyone, their job is essential to them.
Right.
Exactly. But not the community at whole, I think is the point.
Right. This term of essential is thrown out, and there's different perspectives on it. I don't particularly enjoy that term either because I think it downplays the purpose of a person because let's say that a single parent who's the sole provider of their family and that they don't work in like a quote essential job, but and so like they are forced to be furloughed, or they just lose their job, and so to that family it's a devastating loss, and it's really hard to hear. It's really hard to tell. Imagine being a single parent and told like you're the sole provider, and it's like you're not essential.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to be taken that way.
Right.
I don't think it's supposed to be in a personal attack kind of way. Like, yeah, maybe they should have used different wording, or clarified it a little more. But they mean just in the sense of keeping the community running in general. If it's essential in the sense that they can, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm technically non-essential. I've been unemployed this whole time since like the 15th of March. So to me, yeah, the wording's not great, but I completely understand where they're coming from in the sense that like, unless you're a healthcare provider or you're providing some sort of service that like that people cannot go without, like, and survive this, it makes sense to me that there's no point in putting other people at more risk than necessary. Yeah, the wording might be wrong, but like I don't know. Yes, it's essential to the person working. Obviously, like we all need to make money and pay our bills, especially people, like you said, single parents. But I don't think that the term was to say that their work to them is not essential.
Right. That's completely understandable. But the messaging is just a little off, in my opinion. I guess, Rob, what are your thoughts? Because since you have not, you have been working pretty much since the lockdown has happened, and you're in a position that's regarded as essential, working at the post office.
Well, so when it comes, like I said, I'm a big fan of language, and language, obviously, like what Stephanie is saying, is like, yeah, it's maybe not, and what you're saying, Andy, is the language that they're using is not the best. Like, it's like you're good enough, but not you. That's kind of like what it comes off as to a lot of people, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm obviously I'm in a good position. I feel very blessed that like obviously my job, like I get to keep working. And to be honest, I'm working more than I've ever worked ever outside of my time in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And which is fine. It's great. Like, and I see, what I'm doing is kind of like I'm helping out people to, because everyone's stuck at home, and so everyone's ordering stuff, and my job is helping to get those packages out to people that need them, that are, with whatever they need. So in a sense, like, I take that responsibility very, very, very highly. um, Obviously I'm very tired, but at the same time, yeah, I think it's an important, obviously it's an important job. I'm not a healthcare worker. I'm not, or anything like that. But I think what I do is pretty, pretty important. Um, and I look, obviously Stephanie, you're a bartender. To me, that's important because I, I miss going to the bar. I miss having, having drinks and being able to let loose.
Oh yeah, but I mean, that's the point, I guess. I think it's because, unfortunately, in our country, a lot of people, if you don't just close it down and make it unavailable to them, they're not going to heed the warnings, and they're still going to go out, and they're still going to, I guess, put people at risk because, everyone's like, oh, it's my right. It's like all those people that are protesting saying that they don't want to wear face masks anymore because it's their right to not wear a face mask, like, so unfortunately, our country is full of a little bit of self-righteous ignorance.
I would say that yes, there is definitely a number of people that are like that, but I feel like there are a large contingent of people who are smart enough, because like you said,
of course, but the problem is it just takes one person to fuck it up. Yeah, so like you can't just be like, hey, you guys be good and hope that everyone's going to be good. Some people will, but then there's going to be always those people that won't. So you just kind of have to be like, all right, this is banned across the board, and it sucks for all the rest of us that are trying to be responsible, but because you can't control the other people.
Yeah, because from my mindset, listen, we gotta wear the mask. That's fine. If we gotta, obviously, like maybe not have full capacity at certain places, because to me, honestly, for me, I'm already a homebody, so it doesn't matter. Like, oh, stay at home, fuck it, I'll do it. I don't really go anywhere anyways, because that's just I'm a grump, so I fucking hate going out.
I know it's so hard for it's like pulling teeth trying to get him to come out with me.
But the thing, but I feel like if we can still be smart about stuff and set certain limitations for for safety reasons. But yeah, you're right. There are people that are just like, yeah, fuck this, and they don't want to think about someone other than themselves. And for me, like, am I worried about getting sick, or am I worried about the virus? No, I'm not. But at the same time, I don't mind doing things or making other sacrifices, to for the sake of someone else's safety. I do think about others. It's not just about me. And I think there has to be some sort of medium or some other way. Because the idea of lock everything down forever, or just open everything up to with no restrictions at all, I feel like there's some way we can come back to the middle and make a better way, at least until there's some sort of vaccine, or some other treatment that can be done.
Well, I think that's the whole struggle. I mean, I think that if there was a way, like I'm not saying that like I like this solution or that I like being unemployed, or it's very frustrating, I think, to all of us in some way. But I don't know if I could come up with a better solution, just because there's always that problem. Like in an ideal situation, in an ideal society, people would listen and people would, socially distance and do all the things correctly. But unfortunately, we don't have that type of society. So you're talking about trying to control all these people and all these variables. And I don't think that this is like a great thing that we're having to do, in the sense of like being locked down and, everyone a lot of people out of jobs and that kind of stuff. But I don't know if there is a way to come to that happy medium, like you said. Like ideally, yes, but I can't think of a way, because I mean, they were trying to do that. They were trying to reopen things slowly, and the first day the beaches were open, something like 4,000 people went to the beach in Orange County, and we had like 59 more cases. Granted, the statistics might be lies and they might not be right. I know a lot of people are saying that, but if that is the case and it was like that, then obviously like opening up slowly is not working because people are just gonna completely bypass that anyways.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the unfortunate thing is, it's, especially when it comes to the information that's coming out too, because that concerns me, because I feel like sometimes the information that we're given might not always reflect the actuality of the situation, and I don't know if that's necessarily done on purpose or it's just it's just kind of being very flippant about what they're saying.
Well, I think the media unfortunately we can't really trust anyone.
Right.
They're gonna always people are always gonna twist it to whatever means possible, and that's a whole nother story and a whole nother issue that it's gonna go on. I think propaganda.
What was it? The director of public health in Illinois. That lady, came out and basically said that, oh yeah, we're we're basically inflating the numbers, like saying oh, even if you're suspected to have coronavirus, you'll be marked as someone with coronavirus. Which totally skews the statistics, and so we literally can't take what the numbers that we're given. They're suspect because they came out and admitted that as much. And then it's not just that. You have the story of that doctor in I think Michigan or Wisconsin where he got the seven-page document from the CDC and how to fill out a death certificate. Having specific ways that you're supposed to fill it out and what information. So it's right now it's really hard to suss out for yourself. What the right move should be.
That's hard to play.
Yeah, but I think each person has to they have to make their own decisions. At the end,
to a certain point, I think make your own decisions, but again, don't do it at the detriment of other people necessarily, because
right. And I think maybe it's just I have greater faith in humanity, but
probably I actually have very little faith in humanity.
I would say I definitely lean towards Stephanie on this one. Nope. Outside of my friend group who I know them, but God, I deal with the public on a nearly daily basis now, and I have no faith.
Yeah, public service. Being Bartender, I see all sorts of people, just like you. I'm sure at the post office. I can only imagine the type of people you deal with.
We are kind of like a bartender in a way too, because god damn, everyone wants to give us their fucking life. My God.
And everyone's already angry at you when they get into the window, and
I want to shoot myself sometimes. I'm like,
oh no! Don't say that! Don't say that on
air. Yeah, you're gonna get us flagged
right now.
You're gonna get us flagged, Robert. Come on.
They're gonna think you're a terrorist and watch you. Postal workers gone mad.
I know. Postal workers going postal.
Just for the record, I am never going to kill myself. So if I'm dead, investigate my death, please.
Right? Avenge you, right? Avenge you.
Avenge my death. I'm not going out into the dark abyss, of my own accord. So
yeah.
But no, my God, there's so many and I think part of the problem is I feel because I'm not a super genius or anything, but I read a lot, I study a lot, I know a lot of things, I think for myself, and there's so many people that just don't, and because I have all this knowledge and I just hear people, I'm like, and a part of me wishes why can't I have just been made stupid? Because I feel like my life would be so much happier if I was a fucking idiot.
I agree. I've had that thought plenty of times. Obviously we don't want to be dumb, but it would sometimes make things a lot easier if we could just be ignorant and happy.
If because I know some people that are just, they are fucking dumb. I mean, I love them to death, but they're fucking stupid.
Now all your friends in your friendship circle is like, oh God, is he talking about me?
I know.
No.
Yeah, luckily for me, I know that I'm not that friend.
No one.
Do you know?
No one.
Yes, I do know.
No one that's been on the podcast is under this category whatsoever.
So all your friends that haven't been invited on now are wondering.
Okay. Let them wonder. You know, it's like, no. I mean, they're fucking stupid, and it's like, but they're just like, yeah, life's great, you know, and like, but stuff just fucking happens for them. And
Oh, that's the frustrating part, isn't it? When just like,
yeah, like the Forrest Gump thing where they kind of like happen into things.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's so frustrating.
Yeah, it is the Forrest Gump, syndrome. They just fucking fall into shit. It's like, oh my, yeah, I just want to throw my hat across the room, and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. You know?
Yeah, but getting back to like the whole fit, I think people are more trustworthy than we think. I think especially in the beginning, when it was first, when the news of the virus was first happening, a lot of people, they were already self-isolating. They were already self-quarantining, and so I think people.
I feel like in the beginning, people in the beginning took it to an extreme that was like, I mean, there was no toilet paper. There's still no fucking toilet paper. I went to the store the other day and like I was shocked. Not that I needed toilet paper, but I happened to wander down the aisle and it was still empty, which is crazy to me because there clearly hasn't been a shortage. So I don't understand why people are still hoarding. Like, how much toilet paper can you go through?
You only have one asshole.
You would hope. Like,
what was that?
That's why I take a shit at work.
Oh, right. I know. Use that government toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, like, some of the things like the
Hey, Robert, could you tip the camera up a little?
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm saying is that, like, I started kind of going at work, so I don't have to use my toilet paper. And then,
I'm sure your coworkers love that. They're like, oh no, got to use the bathroom before he gets here.
Has anyone have you ever seen anyone walk out with a roll? It's kind of under their their jacket or something.
They've already said if anyone is caught leaving work with toilet paper, they're probably gonna get fired. No, seriously, they had a whole fucking thing about that. So no one's stealing toilet paper, and I'm not gonna lose my job over it. But I'm definitely gonna use theirs, not mine.
Right, take advantage. I told. Hey, I would do the same. If I was in your situation.
That's their problem, not mine.
Although I wonder, I don't know why, but I'm really starting to look into bidets.
Oh my God, bidet sales have skyrocketed. Everyone that owns a bidet factory or company, I don't even know, are very happy right now because my Instagram is just covered in bidet advertisements, and it was never there before.
Right. Yeah. It's. I mean, I was aware of them, and I've actually used a couple of them. And
everyone in the is happy because they're all over there.
Right. Yeah. Especially the Japanese made bidets. Those are amazing. I've used one. It's amazing.
The ones with the seat warmers and
yes, the seat warmer and the one with the vortex jet. Oh, dude.
The dryer that blows the hot air on your butt to dry it.
Yes, that's a game changer. I've specifically been trying to save up money so I could get one of those.
Because here's the thing, because I feel like I have to take a shower after I go to the bathroom, and it's just having a bidet is it's just a mini shower. It's I feel clean afterwards. I
feel so clean. You wouldn't believe how clean you feel after using a bidet. It's literally life changing. It's my bathroom setup is nearly complete. I already have a squatty potty. I just need the bidet.
I don't have the squatty potty, but I think that's
life changing. I'm telling you, it's life changing. I've never pooped so fast in my life.
Thailand. Thailand, you pooped in a hole when I went to Thailand, and at first it's very confusing how you're gonna squat and poop in this little channel, right. But realize they're onto something. It flies right out of you.
Right, the posture, the way you have your knees up and your colon is relaxed, and it's just
I will say the squatty potty commercial is one of the weirdest fucking things that I've ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah, those commercials are weird. It was the potpourri.
Yeah, the pooping unicorn.
That was one of the most most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life.
But it's effective. You remember it.
Yep.
It's always the weird commercials that you end up that you ultimately remember.
They're on to something.
Yeah, so that they're onto something. That's why radio ads are so like obnoxious. Obnoxious is so like you remember them. Because like it's different from TV. It's just like the auditory. And so
Yeah, no
you have no visual. So you have to have like these people like crazy voices and it's like, oh, come down to Lucky Steve's Poopy Emporium. It's like they have to sound like that. They have to grate for you to remember them.
Yeah, otherwise you'll just zone it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
man, I just love how every time I'm with I love when I'm with my friends. It always degenerates to poop talk.
Always.
Yeah, always.
Your two friends. Like
exactly.
my best friend. Like we will text each other about our bowels.
Yeah, your bowel movements.
Yeah. Especially right now in quarantine, I feel like I've been pooping a lot more than usual. I don't know about you guys.
That is dinner table conversation with my family.
Oh, dude, my family? Absolutely. My family is like, man, I had a really weird bowel movement. Yeah, really? What color was it?
I mean, my family will talk about that, but not necessarily at the dinner table. My mom, after some point, goes like, hey, guys, not appropriate,
Oh, see, no. You think I'm bad? You think I'm gross? Which is true. Yes, I am. But my parents are way worse. Oh my gosh.
Well, at least you know where it came from.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely tamer than them. But yeah, they are. Wow. Some of the shit that they talk about, I'm like, wow.
No pun intended.
Yeah. No. But my God, they'd make a fucking sailor blush sometimes. What they talk about.
Okay. Quickly, just to get it back on track, I want to talk about some workarounds that people have been implementing during this whole thing. And I asked Stephanie on because I just noticing on your Instagram how you were posting up you were basically selling drinks outside of the bar or kind of the components to make cocktails.
Actually, I know people that are doing that. I have some friends. I don't know the legalities necessarily of personally selling drinks, but I do have friends that are bartenders. They're selling cocktails delivered to people on their own. I'm actually not. I've had friends tell me I should, but the cocktails that I'm creating and I'm selling and marketing and stuff are actually through my restaurant still.
I see. Okay, but I
don't know the legality of selling liquor straight from your own doorstep.
Right. So yeah, you'd probably have because you the whole liquor license and all that stuff.
Well, it's kind of the Wild West right now, so I don't know because now they're letting delivery of cocktails to go and stuff, and they're even talking about at least for restaurants they've changed the liquor licensing kind of wording, I guess, or they've changed the caveat a little bit. And they're actually thinking about even letting people, or restaurants and businesses, sell liquor on sidewalks now.
Oh, whoa!
I'm not sure if that's going to pass here in LA, but it's definitely it's in the talks of that being a possibility, especially since when we do reopen the restaurants, it's going to be at such low capacity in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I think they think they're going to need some way of getting the revenue because the restaurant's not going to survive at half capacity.
Okay. Wow. Could that mean that LA gets an open container or it's kind of the same rule that they have in New Orleans or Vegas where you walk around with the alcoholic beverage? I
don't know how far it'll get, if it'll get that far, or if there's going to be specific restrictions. It's kind of like a big gray area until, they make a decision. It would be very interesting if we became like that, though. I don't know if it'd be a good thing or a bad thing. We already have, so many people that are following the rules in the first place. I don't know if having people walking around straight up drinking liquor at all times of the day is a great idea, but who knows? It might happen. We'll see.
That's kind of what I've been wondering too, because obviously I haven't had I've been drinking beer, obviously, as you can see, but no, the whole I was kind of saving the whole cocktail things, to it's kind of we're finally kind of over this and I can celebrate because I haven't had any whiskey or a mojito or anything like that in forever.
Those are two very different things. You went from straight whiskey to mojito.
Oh man, you got blasted.
Don't
You
get
guys
a mojito.
got
It's just funny. I was like thinking like, oh, bourbon on the rocks, and then like, whoa, that's okay, mojito.
But no, because like I've even been seeing like now there's like because I know like as far as like shipping stuff, we can't ship at least as far as I'm just talking about the post office. We can't ship alcohol in any capacity. But there are like these like beer delivery apps and stuff and shit, and I've been kind of looking into that because I don't. The less I can be at the store, the better. So I've been kind of like looking into that, and obviously that's been going around, and so I'm kind of curious if they're gonna start like loosening some of those restrictions.
Well, if you want a cocktail, you could always like Uber Eats or Talk or Chow Now it from my restaurant.
Well, I might have to do that because I like I said, I've been dying for I mean I have whiskey at home, but I've been saving it for for a special occasion.
Well, you might be saving it for a while because I mean we can be sending this stay at home.
Whiskey just keeps getting better. So
I don't know if that counts once it's out of the barrel, but okay.
Yeah, hey, I haven't opened it yet, so it's still good.
It doesn't go bad, that's for sure. It doesn't age anymore in the bottle.
That's for but no, God, I've been dying for a mojito so bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that is the silver lining of this whole thing is that some of these restrictions and some of these laws that we're so used to are going to be changing. And it should be really interesting to see where we end up after all this.
Well,
because the new normal is definitely not going to be normal for a lot of people for a long time. Like a lot of people are still going to be unemployed, and a lot of the restaurants and bars aren't going to be able to come back. Just like
right, yeah, a lot of the
they can't. They can't afford it.
Right, yeah, a lot of the hardest hit people are the small businesses, and it's the Walmarts and the
Big chains,
big chains, yeah, they're gonna be fine, but just, small mom and pop places, they're the ones that they're gonna go like away at the dodo, and
which is unfortunate because that's kind of like what I mean. At least here in LA, like that's kind of what our culture is. None of us really want to go to the big chains all the time. That's
right. Yeah. Whenever we go to Walmart, it's always reluctantly.
I never go to Walmart. Not Walmart.
I go to like my bar, like that's not a chain. And my bar is like it's it might not be back when everything's back normal. And I don't want to go to some I go to Yard House occasionally, but like I don't want to fucking go to that place. It's just doesn't feel like home.
No.
I know, Rob. You're like Norm up in Pineapple, dude.
Fuck yeah. I know the owner. I know all the servers. I know all the bartenders. I know everybody there.
Oh, in Sherman Oaks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My old acting teacher partially owns that.
Yeah, I know him too.
Oh, there you go.
Small world.
No, that's
Small world.
That's the bar I go to all the time.
Okay, I used to go to Foxfire all the time. I miss Foxfire. But I don't live in the valley anymore, so it's kind of far to go to my neighborhood bar when it's like on the other side of town.
Yeah, on the other side of the hill.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not my neighborhood bar anymore.
Yeah, and that's I think and that's how and that's the kind of beauty of the local spots, because then you form communities around those things. Yeah, it's like the Walmarts, they'll always be there, but it's just like Fred, at the the local hardware, or Nancy at the knitting store. It's just.
Oh yeah, and a lot of companies that were just kind of holding on.
Oh, they're
like that, like local hardware stores and stuff. I don't think they're definitely not coming back. I don't think at this point. How can they when they have big corporations that can still afford it?
Well, in a lot of ways, like those big companies are thriving off of this because they're hiring people right
now.
Yeah, they're expanding.
Well, that's what the whole like controversy about Amazon is. They're like, don't try not to order from Amazon because basically that person, that the Amazon doesn't need more money basically. But where else are people going? Because what else do we have? That's going to deliver, going to be quick and reliable. Like, yeah, they're definitely happy that everyone else is going through these financial crisis.
Yeah, it's especially for me because I like to support local business. I like to support like smaller people that people that I can actually fucking talk to, and not through like email or something like that. And yeah, those guys are going away. And like you said, I was ordering a book set off of someone. It's like, and like, yeah, we're not coming back until like this time, and with everything going on, so your stuff's gonna be delayed. And it's like, well, I mean, I'll wait. Like, I don't need it right away, but it's like, fuck, I don't want to order that off of Amazon. Like, if I can get it from somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, and also like not just buying things. But think about TV programming and stuff. We're not going to have new TV. We're not going to have new movies, nothing for a while because of this. They can't film anything. So unless it's already been filmed and they can edit it, remotely, obviously we're not getting any new media either.
Thankfully, like, I still have a whole backlog of like old movies I haven't seen. So like, yeah.
Time to rediscover the classics.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is where I usually tend to be anyways. So I'm good.
Yeah, my what is it? My AMC A-list subscription. Yeah, it's like luckily they're not charging me during this time. But
Nice.
yeah, I think, but yeah, I think even we talk about like the small business that's gonna go under, but yeah, I think theaters, even the big chain ones are gonna they might
Looking at the
disappear as
past,
well. Yeah, because it's like
concerts, like anything, yeah, it's gonna be very different.
I have a feeling because the theaters themselves were already kind of like wavering.
Mhm.
I think they're gonna fucking kill them off because I don't think anyone's gonna want to go.
Which is unfortunate because like that changes. I mean, granted, like I'm in here. I came to LA to act, and everything has changed so much since I got here.
Right.
And this is just going to change things again. Like box office is not going to be a thing, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that is affected, how actors are affected, how everyone in that industry is affected. They're not getting those big $1 million box office hits.
That's why they've been streaming the new movies. Like okay, you're spending $20 to have a viewing of a new movie that came out, but
yeah, the streaming services don't really pay that much. Like
exactly.
new media and stuff, like you don't get paid like you did if you booked a network job.
Exactly.
Because they don't have commercials, and so I mean, obviously, advertising is getting bigger in streaming, which is gonna have to happen because otherwise we're getting their money to pay. It's not like everyone's subscription is really gonna cover the cost. $20 subscription for a month versus a $20 movie ticket for one time is very different.
Well, that's
right.
What I think. If they are going to start like where we're not in theaters anymore, but we're streaming the films, it would have to be a one-time like
pay-per-view style
for the movie, and you get one viewing. That's it. If you don't fucking finish it, like you're gonna have to buy it again.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're coming up on the limit here, and I'm too cheap to for another service. Even though it's kind of more. But really quickly, one thing that you're really looking forward to when the quarantine's over.
Going back to work.
Going back to work.
Yes, I'm so bored. I mean, like, just being able to have some sort of routine again, it's tough. Not because you say you're going to get all the stuff done. Yeah, I have all the free time in the world, but the motivation to actually, like, get stuff done when you have all the time in the world, it's hard to find. It's really easy to kind of fall into, the whole, like, anxiety and depression. It's a big thing for a lot of people, and I really would like to be able to go back to work and not have to be sitting at home wondering what I'm doing with my life.
Here, here.
I want to take a fucking nap because
we can trade.
And I'm gonna finally, be able to go to fucking China, like which I've been trying to do to go see my girlfriend.
Travel, yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to travel. Who knows what that's gonna look like either? Like traveling is gonna be a whole nother thing.
That's gonna be all fucked up. But like I said, for my girlfriend, I'm gonna travel to go see her. No matter how tough it is. So.
She's like, yeah, you better say that.
She watches every episode that we have, so I better say that.
Yeah, right. Yes, cover your ass.
Don't cut that part out, Andrew. Make sure that makes it in.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure, I will. Yeah, I just want to, go out in restaurants. Not particularly just for the food because food is food, but just the communal aspect of it all.
Come into my restaurant. You can't sit at the bar anymore. That's gonna be a thing of the past. But you can eat in the restaurant.
It's true. All right. That's gonna do it for us today. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to join us. I'm sorry, wrong outro.
I'm a jerk. That's no real man. I'm a jerk. It ain't so sad.